claims he keeps experiencing paranormal activity in his dining room and nowhere else. He feels unsafe and decides to leave a camera running in the dining room to see what's going on when he's not around. Nothing happens for a while, but something comes along in the window that looks questionable. This is the zoomed-in version. A tiny face appears to peek at them from the glass panel on the bottom right, before darting out of sight. You can't make out any of its features, but notice how some orbs float by shortly before this happens. It's hard to tell if it's a paranormal creature or just a small animal, but I wouldn't want to be left in that home alone to find out. Ashley Turner is a YouTuber who has noticed lots of paranormal activity around her house lately. Usually, it happens too quickly for her to record, but Ashley managed to Snapchat this event one night. A string is the only thing I could think of besides the paranormal. Let me know what you think. This scary clip is filmed outside the stunning York Minster. The bells are ringing and the cameraman is taking it all in. He scans the cathedral and then starts walking towards it. A shot later, he continues on his way down a narrow shop lane while the bells continue to sound. Shops line either side of the street, but watch what happens in the upper window to the left. The cameraman zooms in on a ghostly pale face of a small child looking out the window. The child's eyes are dark and inky, and its face is mask-like. As the camera zooms, the child disappears. The uploader noted that the house was called Belfry and was built in the 17th century. Some comments claim to have stayed there and say it has seriously spooky vibes. I'd say it's a pretty good chance. A paranormal tug-of-war match ensues as the frightened student tries to free his friend from the clutches of this malicious shadow evil entity. Eventually, the evil entity let go and dematerialized behind them as they ran up the steps. Many people think that this was an actual possession attempt caught on video and that this person would have been a goner for sure if not for the quick reflexes of his friend. I'm unsure whether or not I believe that theory. Please let me know what you think. Slashed across these holes are marks resembling human nails repeatedly raking themselves across the surface.
So that the fresh air could still come in, but you couldn't get your hand up there. You can reach out and signal to people. Right there.
Let's recap. Thus far, he found a box that could be meant for holding people. Outside this box is a stool where someone could sit down and enjoy listening to their helpless screaming and scratching sounds for hours until it was mealtime, at which point they would presumably be served some microwaved food to keep them alive for another day in the basement. Oh, and one more terrifying thing, the scariest thing of all. If you were wondering what eventually became of the people held in this basement, it becomes apparent when he comes across an old contraption that's had plenty of use over the years.
It's actually an old incinerator.
When they were finished, I guess they were let out of the box and loaded into the incinerator. He commented on finding ash at the bottom. I suppose this scary thing has been fired up in recent use. That's way too many complicated things to see in this basement not to think something is up. Maybe it's time to help his girlfriend find a new apartment. A man is videotaping an abnormal home from above when he catches what could be something paranormal as it dashes away. A misty black cloud snakes along the wall and trails off into the abandoned house, veering out of sight. The cameraman zooms in for a better look, but finds nothing. This appears to be CGI, but how the cameraman behaves makes me think it could be real. He stayed focused on the spot for a bit, then draws back and studies the entire area for more activity. He doesn't immediately stop recording like most videos. As this exorcism footage shows, Christians are not the only ones plagued by spiritual possessions. Here, you see a supposedly possessed woman trembling under the power of group prayer, and it all begins with a single concerned-looking rabbi kneeling before her. The rabbi observed her for a bit, then stood up and said something to the crowd. Under his orders, they surrounded the possessed woman and began to chant as one. It all started quietly, but soon it grew louder and louder as the woman convulsed before them, thrashing wildly. As the camera pans out, you can see that many rabbis have gathered to perform this exorcism. The fact that they have so many religious leaders present indicates that whatever is inside her must be very powerful. The sacred chanting intensifies as the woman starts to cry out in pain. The rabbis continue to vigorously shake their fists at her while shouting for the demons to leave her body at once. At this point, the group exorcism appears to be working. They often pause to see if the demon has wholly left her. When they know it hasn't, they repeatedly resume the shouting. The woman is held down and appears to be still going completely delirious. The video cuts out abruptly, so we don't know if the exorcism was successful. But by the end, we can see some crowd members smiling in relief. On December 19th of 2019, this group entered the church and began addressing any spirits nearby. They apologize for the condition of the church and show genuine sympathy. Then, after establishing a certain level of trust, they make a small request for anything.
Or just make one loud noise?
He could have just dragged his foot across the floor to make the sound, so this alone isn't conclusive evidence of a ghost. But when they get out of the spirit box and ask questions, they get two clear answers. Here's the first.
All right, do you want to speak to me now?
And when he pretends not to understand, there's a second note that sounds like it's coming not from the spirit box, but a row of pews further back.
Yes?
Yes?
Even if this spirit box is a little more than random responses from radio airwaves, the odds of hearing nope twice and in perfect timing with a question are slim to none.
Kevin, I heard that.
When he passes by the same area 8 minutes later, the corner is empty, and whatever it was is now gone. Just a couple of weeks later, on January 5th of 2020, they returned to the church for a closer look. This time, As one of them kneels to look at the mirror, this creepy image of an evil entity forms before their eyes.
So stand up, you can't see.
Dude, I'm seeing something demonic.
They describe a demonic image peeking in on the right side of the mirror. You can see it has hands raised, and if you pause for 3 seconds, there are also 2 eyes and a small open mouth. When he stands up, the figure disappears and does not return. Of course, this could just be a dirty mirror, but according to the investigator, kneeling, he felt something grab his hat, and when they shone their light on the mirror to try to recreate it, they could never make the figure return. Roaming cold spots began to pass over them, and they decided to leave before anything else happened. But on the way out, I hear a hiss,
Freaking. Dude.
and as they reach the final room, they hear a warning sound from deeper within that I have no explanation for other than the paranormal. This sounds like no animal I have ever heard of, and I can practically hear the hate in its guttural growl. They search for the source of the growl for a moment longer and then decide to get out of there fast. With so many sounds and sightings in such a short period, I have little doubt that something horrifying lurks within these halls. Its very existence is a defilement of this location, but perhaps that's precisely why this demonic force has chosen to make this place a new home, and I doubt it'll leave any time soon. This video comes from a YouTuber named Samantha Stone, who claims to have been targeted by strange occurrences after researching conspiracy theories about aliens and ghosts. In this video, she and a friend are experimenting with the Ouija board when something from another realm suddenly starts experimenting with them instead. They begin by asking some basic questions to the spirit, but soon they have their full attention and don't have to touch the pointer. Samantha's friend quickly shows that they are not using strings to make this video.
It's like nothing. I'm feeling all the way around it.
If this video is accurate, the ghost seems less interested in communicating with them than moving the pointer in strange and unpredictable ways. At one point, it looks like the arrow is about to levitate. Still, the spirit doesn't give them much information about who it is or what it wants. Oh, and if you think they're using magnets underneath the board, I thought the same thing at first, and then I realized that the board was on the ground. There's just no way. Esmeralda Vega is recording her family opening presents on Christmas, but one toy in particular keeps interrupting what should have been a happy family moment.
That shit moved again, I'm throwing it across the...
Maybe someone is controlling this toy from another room, or it is motion activated. But based on their surprising reactions, I don't think anyone is moving it on purpose. If anything, the toy seems to have moved on its own as soon as the camera person mentioned it, almost like it has a mind of its own. If anybody recognizes this toy, please let me know what it's called and if it's remote controlled or not. Maybe together we can verify if this video is real or not. A TikToker named Sarimar Muniz finds herself across the floor in surprise at this ghost sighting, which she is about to point out in a moment. She is singing a musical when a tiny gray face pokes into the shot and retreats. The way it moves on its way out looks better than most edited videos, or as much as I wished it weren't. Maybe it's real. This deep web video is a collection of old horror movie scenes. They even think a psycho could have spliced a small portion of real video into the horror movie montage. This would be a perfect way to brag about what you've done without making it too obvious. Let me know if you recognize what movie this woman is from. If nobody has seen this before, then as much as I hate to say it, I think this portion might be a home video from a genuine psychopath. A YouTuber named No Ghost Hunter grows tired of living in a haunted home and decides to videotape the disturbances for evidence. It's a little past midnight when he hears scratching noises, which soon progress into running footsteps and loud bangs. These noises appear to be coming from all different home areas at once. The next day, his HD TV begins rocking violently from side to side, all by itself. The rocking motion picks up speed until the corners of the TV are almost hitting the entertainment center, and it looks like the base is going to break. Then the TV starts rocking back and forth the other way. Nobody is behind the television, and there's no way they could have been using strings to do this. The day after, No Ghost Hunter finds a short video on his phone that he is 100% sure he did not make. The video is shot from the ground level of his kitchen. When you look at the reflection in the oven, you can see that nobody is holding the phone. The phone is floating in midair. The actual footage shows the TV shaking by itself again. This time, No Ghost Hunter can film behind the TV to show that this is not a prank. He waves his hand above the television to show that there is no wires, and he even films underneath the base to show that there is no rod coming up from the entertainment center or anything like that. The lights cut out multiple times while he filmed. A few days later, he captured his refrigerator slamming open and closing again and again. The brazen poltergeist left the door open to ensure its presence is fully known. Pasty Pickle is the name of a YouTuber who has been having strange house problems. Time and time again, he goes outside only to see a figure in the window despite no one in the room. There seems to be no rhyme or reason to why this happens. Sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. He shows that no one is hiding in the room and then goes outside to see if he can capture the elusive figure on camera.
Holy shit, there's actually a figure today. I actually got it on tape, no way.
The sun kind of gets in the way, but look closely at the top window and you'll see a faint outline in the center. It almost looks gray and formless. You can see it a lot better here.
Wow. Holy. Okay, alright.
Give me your best guess about what you think this could be, paranormal or otherwise. Stay tuned for our #1 pick that will shock you. Stephanie Jenkins is filming her child at the bottom of some steps when suddenly she goes from smiling to startled.
Whoa.
The child looks like she saw something, but she quickly forgets about it a few steps into the next room. Some people have noticed what appears to be an orb float overhead. While some people think this could have been a speck of dust or something similar, others believe it could be a long-lost relative paying their respects to the next generation of kin. Thanks for watching. Stay vigilant, friends.